Hi, everybody. I want to do a couple things in this video, and I'm going to try and do it in a really short period of time. First, I have graded all of your P-level projects from Module 2. I'll be posting those on the Dropbox for feedback. But I used those to try and give you some feedback on using the P-levels and using the P-levels to identify goals, IEP goals, and possibly some benchmarks. And so all that you talked about in your launch really was about the challenges that students have with discussions. And of course, part of that, part of the challenge is really related to environmental factors and their access really to all of the information that is available during a conversation. But it's also related to skills. So, from your P-level goals, I'm going to share some suggestions that I made. I used your P-level goals, the ones that I rewrote and provided some suggestions. They're all kind of here so you can see everybody's. I want to remind you that when you're writing a goal, you need a specific behavior. You need where, in what context, or the conditions will this need to occur. And then criteria. Criteria are going to be critical when you're talking about conversational skills. Most of the time, specifying criteria can help you clarify and make observable and measurable the goal, and it can also give you some really good benchmarks that you might use in teaching that skill. So, again, you have to remember you're proposing in your goal that you're going to either develop a skill, it's a skill they don't have, a new skill, increase the skill, or decrease a skill that isn't appropriate. So, talk about benchmarks. The other point I want to make is that often if you will refer to grade level text or grade level material content, that helps you narrow or focus in your goal so that you may use this same goal in another year, or you might tweak it, but then the grade level content or the grade level material increases, and so this helps you kind of keep it very narrowed to a specific child's grade level and developmental level. So I give you just lots of examples, but here's basically the way that I'm presenting them. I tell you the area, this is some function, and this is the goal. In conversation about events in academic content, the student will ask at least 2 questions to gain information or clarify the content of the conversation, meeting criteria in 4 out of 5 observed conversations. Now, the other is measurement, and you'll see several ways that I suggest you can do it. There are lots of ways to do it, but basically I'm going to suggest this idea of using criteria. So based on this goal, the criteria, the goal is 2 questions. It should be an increase from baseline, so you should have some baseline measures. It is focused on the academic content or topic, and the function of the questions the function is to clarify or gain more information. So this is a checklist. These are the criteria that I can use to help me measure the goal, and it can help me in observations determine if the child is meeting it or not meeting it. It also helps me perhaps have some benchmarks to start working on. So I might arrange my instruction around some of the benchmarks, or plan my instruction around some of the benchmarks. So I do, I'm telling you, you can write a goal around 1 P-level competency. You can, I have some examples where you can create a goal that addresses more than one area across, like look at level 4 and level 5, create it in the area of function or across areas. And there's some examples of that. You should recognize your examples. And then you can make connections and draw from the standards that can help you kind of make the link between the students' developmental needs and the regular curriculum. And so you can see in these examples, I'm drawing from some of the language and some of the goals. They're not as written perfect for the students, so you do need to tweak it. For me, this is the creative experience. This is what you do. You create a goal that meets that student's need, that draws from their needs for building conversational and interactive communication skills and the curriculum, the place and the content they need to be able to use in those conversations. So you're doing some blending, but there are some patterns that you'll see. In the second week of this module, this week you're looking at all the standards. The standards are good places to find specific skills to kind of add in, and looking at it by grade level and developmentally. You've talked about the organization. I introduced this sort of image, this process, looking at the P level and other assessments, looking at the standards, both maybe multiple sets of standards, and then developing your IEP goal from that. And then this is what you'll meet this week. This is a way for you to begin to think about your approach to instruction. So now we're talking about instruction. Your approach to instruction and where instruction can occur. The approaches that you'll read about are explicit, so I am very explicitly teaching a skill. Then the next level is explicit but embedded within a curriculum content, and then fully embedded in the content, those skills. So it's sort of like the skill is in the forefront, the skill is embedded with content, and then the skill becomes in the background and the content becomes really important. So it's just levels and ways to think about the approach. And then in terms of the context, we have several contexts. We have one-on-one, so individual teacher-student, which really fits very much with explicit. There might be a small group, really just a few students that's one sort of place where you can initiate the use of some of these conversation skills. And again, it can be explicit, embedded, and then fully embedded, and then in the regular classroom. So some of you are right in the classroom, and what can you do to help with possibly using explicit, embedded, or embedded. And so the bottom line is you want the students to use these communication skills. Oh, give me more time. And fluently in contexts. So this isn't just something that you teach once. This is something you will have to revisit over and over again across content and across contexts. So that is the point. I don't think I have anything else. I'm going to send you this because you get an opportunity in this second module to rethink and rewrite and use some of the feedback for your goals, and then to think about benchmarks and to think about instructional approaches for teaching these skills. So I hope this helps you sort of kind of finish off Module 2 and get ready for the second week of Module 3. Can't believe we're on 3. All right, any questions, let me know.